welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in Fellow Sketch February, put on by Sandy Reversky, who is Steak Goddess on YouTube, and her Facebook page, which has this event, is Scrapping Reflections. So I'm using Sketch for Day 19, which was put out by Rowena, craftsbyrowena.com. I'm using an older collection from Photplay, and it's called Snuggle Up, and it was the boy edition. There was also one put out a little bit later. There was a girl collection, which you might be able to find out there. It's not at the main scrapbook stores, but you might be able to find it on Amazon or second-hand stores, that type of thing. And it's similar, but it is mostly pink. I don't have any children, and my sister doesn't either, so I don't have any baby pictures to scrapbook. But I think I bought this paper for my cousin who loves koala bears, and she had some grandchildren at the time. But they're grade school and high school now, I think. So I never did make an album for her. In fact, I don't think I ever got any pictures of the kids. I think they save everything digitally and don't print anything out. Maybe someday I'll do something for her, but I don't know that she really keeps photo albums. Anyway, I decided to use this for my first dog since she was a baby and she's my baby. So anyway, I'm using the paper collection for her, and this sketch showed like a half circle and actually in quarters, so 2 quarter circles to make a half circle. So I just used my brother's Scan and Cut to cut these out, and I'm using just the reverse side of this. So the quarter circles are great if you're using a non-directional pattern like the dots are, but on the blocks you want to make sure, if you have something like this with the letters, that you're cutting it so when you lay the paper down that your blocks aren't sideways or upside down. And I'm just using Nuvo Deluxe glue to glue them on. And this one I'm doing pretty much according to the sketch. The sketch shows 4 square photos being matted on the same piece of cardstock. Mine's rectangle though, because I didn't have any square photos. They're more rectangular. But I did do 3 smaller photos, and then I'm going to also add some journaling. I picked this darker green paper for matting my photos because it's kind of a dark bluish green, which I think goes along with the pattern paper, but also it'll help it pop off of the pattern paper. I didn't want to use anything light because I didn't think my photos would show up as well. And I'm just using double-sided tape to adhere it to the page. I cut down one of the journaling cards that came with the collection. It says Hugs and Kisses, so I thought that was appropriate. And then I just did some journaling with my brown marker to say that we got Jackie for our 40th birthday, and the photos came from the breeder. And that's why the pictures are of when she's quite a bit younger. We didn't have her at this time. I attached my photos with some photo mounting squares, and I attached the journaling with some Nuvo Deluxe glue. Now I was able to cut out 2 of the photos and the journaling all the same size. They're 2.5 by 3, but then the one photo was a little bit smaller. I had them all on the same sheet, so I couldn't make it a wider border that was white. But since it's all on that same background, it doesn't really matter. On the sketch, it shows all the photos being 3 by 3, but you can adjust a sketch to match whatever you need to on your layout to make it work for you. You could have even used maybe 2 larger vertical photos for it to work. And there's plenty of space on this sketch, so you can even do larger photos if you needed to. Now this was the first dog that I had. That was mine. And actually I shared it with my sister because my mom bought it for us for our 40th birthday since we're twins. And at the time we were all living together. And my first dog was my dad's, which my mom bought a salt and pepper schnauzer for my dad when we were going to be turning 5. So we had that one through my whole childhood. And then when my sister and I graduated from college, my sister got her own schnauzer because the other one had passed away by then. And I actually ended up watching that one for a year because my sister went to Mexico not long afterwards. to be a missionary for a year, so I watched her first schnauzer, almost the first year of its life. And then this one my mom bought when we turned 40. And we did look around at some shelters, and I had my name on some of the shelter lists in case they would have a terrier become available. There was a couple different breeds we were looking at, but we were definitely schnauzer lovers. So we wanted, even if it wasn't a full-fledged schnauzer, something like that, and definitely one that didn't shed. I decided to use these kind of grayish brown letters. They're from Creative Memories, or at least they're older ones. And instead of putting her name, which is what I originally thought I'd do, I decided to put one of the nicknames that I gave her, which I called her often Baby Roo, because I love Roo from Winnie the Pooh, so she was my Baby Roo. And I thought it kind of went with her. When I was thinking about that, I remembered that on one of the swaps I do with Ginger's Corner. I haven't done that in a while because I've been kind of busy with teaching preschool and some other things going on. But on one of the previous swaps, I got a kangaroo die cut from someone. So I dug that out and the colors matched. So I'm going to be putting that on this layout. So I thought, well, this will be the perfect place to put her nickname. Now with the letters, I'm just sticking them down just a little bit because I wasn't quite sure where they would all fit and how I wanted it to look. So I do move them a little bit as I see how much room they take up. The sketch actually shows the title on the right-hand side, but I wanted it on the left, so I just flipped the sketch. And I wanted to put it on the left because this is going to be my left-hand page in my scrapbook. So I wanted the title to be on that side. And I'm actually going to put some more baby pictures we got from the breeder on the next page. And I'll use this same collection of papers so they kind of coordinate. And here's that kangaroo that I was talking about, and it was made by Salfred Runningen. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. One of the letters I wasn't sure if it was an E or an O, but I don't know if she's going to end up seeing this video, but if you are the one who sent me this kangaroo, I want to thank you so much for it, and it is adorable, and it goes perfectly with this layout. And the rest of the embellishments, I use the sticker sheet that I got with the collection. I just kind of play around with the stickers and move them around as I try to addition where I want them to be and see which ones work. The only ones that really didn't work were, of course, the baby buggy and the bottles and things like that and the onesies. But anything else kind of goes along with a puppy because it is a baby. It's just a baby dog. I added the sticker I found on the sticker sheet that says date, and so I just used that to put my dog's birthday. When I looked at this sketch, I saw the dots, so you could use enamel dots or really just about anything, stickers. I decided it'd be a great opportunity to use the pops of color, and I'm using 3, so I'm just going to go and do a pattern of 3 of them. So the first one I'm using is called Pearl Seafoam. And the lighter green is called Glass Sky Blue. And then the kind of clear one, it's actually a pearl, is called Pearl Satin. Now, the first couple times I used this, I had trouble because you know how the enamel ones do where they don't go on flat like a circle. They usually have like a little, a curly Q at the top like a Dairy Queen sundae. And I did tap from behind one time, and that helped a little bit. And then on this one, I did the same because on the last time I tapped behind, that really seemed to help. But I noticed the pearl went flatter on this one than the other. So then when I go down to the lower ones, I don't do as many dots because I thought, well, maybe they were drying a little bit more. Although it does take quite a long time for them to dry, but maybe there wasn't enough fluidity to them, I don't know. Anyway, that they wouldn't settle down. Although after I was tapping for a while, then I started flicking, and I noticed that seemed to be better. So on my next layout, I did the flicking and not as many, and then those all went flat. So that's the trick to do, is to flick your finger underneath the paper and do it where you don't do too much time in between putting on the paper and doing the flicking. Anytime I use this type of medium or any type of gel paste or stickles, anything like that, I either do it as my last step and let it dry for quite a while, because if you have it on there wet, I know other people do the same thing, I'm going to smudge it and touch it. So it's the last step, or if it's going through a stencil and I need to put things over it, then I let it dry for, a good 24 hours before I do anything else with the sketch or the card. Sometimes, of course, I use these for card making. I really do like these colors of the pops of colors, so I do plan on getting quite a bit more and using them more now that I know how to get them flat. They didn't all get flat on this one, but on my next layout that I have for tomorrow, they will be flat because I use the flicking technique on them. Now, the pops of color come from Scrapbook.com, so they're a lot less expensive than buying the name brand ones. I know Nuvo and some other companies make them. And whether you need to flick them to get them to go flat, I don't know. I know I've heard people have trouble getting them to go flat. I never purchased too many of them, so I really don't have that much experience with it to compare the two. I'll put a list of the products that I'm using in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that the links generate, and that helps support my channel. Also, as I mentioned, this is part of Fall Sketch February. There is a playlist for that, so I'll put that at the end of the video as well as the description below. Please hop along and get some more ideas of even how you can alter a sketch, because I'm sure everybody will have a totally different take on the sketch and use different products to give you a whole lot of different ideas of how to use the different sketches. And I do have a companion page coming up tomorrow where I use tomorrow's sketch for the other pictures that we got from the breeder. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a wonderful day.